Welcome to Chapter 3, Fort Redstone, Episode 11. Last episode. Yesterday, Emily's depression and anxiety has never been as low as it currently is. She had one serious and several minor panic attacks. Her decision to start medicate herself with antidepressants and beta blockers has yet to show improvements. The voices and sound in her head keeps coming regularly, and she has hard time to focus and get her head straight. The hospital is stripped and search complete. Emily has no bigger goal yet than to search and scan the rest of the fort before deciding what to do next. This morning, she spent some time reading in the bed before she actually got energy enough to get up. Today, her plan is to start search the east areas of Fort Redstone. In a sealed container that has not yet been searched, Emily finally finds the bowl to use to make proper food. There are many sealed containers that must be opened by force. The sound attracts some infected to the place. Emily has not seen any new infected people in a few days now. But she was expecting to find more the further east within the camp she explores. Emily continues to loot everything that she finds and may be useful on her way forward. Opening containers requires efforts, and Emily feels compelled to sit down and rest a bit. The container seems packed with boxes. Oh my, this will take me some time to go through. A bit later, Emily got some visitors distracting her. At the same time, she noticed that a large group of infected people has gathered nearby and takes out the rifle. She decides to scout the nearby areas for more infected to minimize any critical encounters.
Bingo!
Emily just spotted a large military vehicle parked, in the hopes it might have gasoline or even possibility to be driven. But one thing at a time, she must search, secure, and clear the areas before any other tasks come into play. Her survival must come first and cannot risk rushing it. Finally, the entire container filled with the boxes have been opened up. Some good finds, including a couple of new exercise equipment that can help keep fit. With an extreme overload, Emily is forced to head back to safety to unload. A bit surprised, Emily sees an infected outside her safety spot. She must remind herself to be more careful and be mindful that the infected do roam around. She has a lot of buckets placed outside. Hopefully that will cover some time if the water shuts off. When the unload is complete, the training equipment placed, she heads over to the kitchen to make some proper fresh salad mix. While the meat is being cooked in the oven, Emily decides to go back to her room to take the carpentry book and continue reading to further her knowledge. It is late afternoon, almost evening. Emily decides to continue her day to secure and search through the eastern part of the camp. time for a break and dinner. The container area secured and searched. It's time to get into the adjacent building. When she moved in the area, shots and noises were made. There were no signs that infected people tried to break out of this building. The building seems unlocked, and Emily enters. Everything is quiet around. Emily cannot hear any grunting from infected. Emily sees a dead body lying on the floor. It does not look like she has become infected, but died of something else. Grunting. Emily's ready and takes a quick shot. Emily takes a peek outside to scout for infected and goes back inside. More infected. Emily takes some distance and shoots it with an interruption of a gun jam. Grunting. A lot of infected seems to have heard the shots, and Emily takes the safety first and runs out in the yard to take the fight. Slightly revealed by her decision to take the fight outdoors, she reloads and gets ready to get back inside the building. In the backyard, many infected are lurking. Emily feels a little insecure about her own safety, but still decides to shoot. Emily decides to take out her rifle. More infected lurks on the fields. Ah, a generator. Alright, that's good to know. A lot of infected have come from upstairs. She stays close to the stairs to fight off incoming threats. Emily makes some noise to attract infected lurking.
Paint me yellow and call me banana.
There were a lot of infected on the other side of the fence. She climbs the fence to secure the areas. And then goes back inside. Emily makes more sounds and tries to attract any lurking infected nearby. Upstairs, it seems to be sleeping quarters. Probably for the crew that was working around this very area. She takes the stairs down again and decides to search for the upper floor via the other stairs. Emily hears groveling sounds. With some luck, Emily turns around to watch her six. Luckily, that might just have saved her life. Emily turns the light because it's evening and dark outside. And then she takes the stairs upstairs. Radio and control panels and some ammunition storage is found. There's also more stairs up. Next floor seems to have a small kitchen area along with more radios and computers and control panels. The radio is broadcasting the emergency channel. What seems to be top floor, even more control panels, radios and computers are placed. Emily assumes that the building was the communication tower for the fort. The time of the day is late. It's time to head back to safety, unpack, and maybe get a well-deserved shower and a good night's sleep. Finally back, exhausted and very tired, she starts with the kitchen to unpack. and she makes herself a new salad plate. During the day, as she started taking antidepressants yesterday, she actually noticed difference during the day. The sounds in her head have somewhat eased. But they are still there. And Emily still cannot help herself but to mutter and talk loudly to herself from time to time. Emily starts preparing to go to the shower. She takes off her bandages to watch how the wounds have healed. To her delight, they are healed, and she has not had any new panic attacks today, which led to her injuring herself. The hot shower feels nice, but when her eyes close, her thoughts turn to infected dead bodies. Sounds pop up, and the shower no longer feels comfortable. Freshly showered and with some clean clothes, Emily walks towards her room. Her tiredness feels overwhelmed, and it will be nice to sleep. It's been 2 weeks since Emily woke up in this nightmare. As usual, she gets up and starts dressing herself. Continued sounds in her head get her in a bad mood. She starts the morning by watching if something is broadcasting on TV and to read the carpentry book. The TV has been quiet for many days now, and Emily is starting to think that the TV broadcasts have now stopped, which scares her. After finishing reading the carpentry book, dismantling some radios, She puts on equipment and gets ready to go out. Once out, Emily sees the dense fog that lies. She needs to be extra attentive and careful in this weather relations. The sounds in her head does not help. Emily makes sure to eliminate any threat on the runway and areas close by. There are actually a lot of infected people around. But with the rifle and Emily's skill, the job makes it look easy. Large hangars are seen, as Emily predicted would be in this area. At 11 o'clock, the areas are more or less secured, and Emily decides to take a sneak peek inside one of the hangars with open doors. The hangar seems to be filled with containers, boxes, and barrels. Emily takes a look in the first container, containing lots of military boxes, and finds a lot of usable goods. Emily starts hammering to get into the locked container,